Hello everybody, it's Anne from Anne's Stampin' Up. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Simcoe, Ontario. If you don't have your own demonstrator, feel free to shop with me if you live in Canada. You can reach me at stampsandtea@gmail.com, or my demonstrator website is stampsandtea.stampinup.net. Welcome everybody, it's January 17th and it's cold here in Southern Ontario. So, because it's the middle of January, I thought we should make a couple of Valentine cards, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. We have this one here, and it has the heart cut out of the center, and then I used the center to make this one. The card technique is called, I think it's called a floating technique. So let me turn the camera down and I will explain all the parts we need as we go along, and I'll tell you how we're going to do this. The first card we're going to make is this one. You need a basic card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. You need a mat, which is 5 1/4 by 4 for the front. You need your mat for the inside, which is 5 1/4 by 4. We need a scrap to cut out a white heart that goes in here like this. We have some red rhinestone jewels, and we have some pastel pearls. Now I pulled those out. They're quite old, but they match the colours nicely. The Highland Heather colour in there matches the mat very nicely. What we're using is, let me move that, I can see a wire there. From the January to June catalogue, we're using this collection called Sweet Conversations Bundle. This is the paper we're using. It's actually this one here with the hearts on. I'll just show you this one here. And I cut off a 4 by 12 strip to use. We're going to use the stamps from this set as well. But because I don't, there's a companion set with this, and it's called Love and Happiness, and these two sets sort of go together. This one has the nice big heart in, but I don't have that set yet, but I do have, from way back in the day, a set of dies called Be Mine Stitched Framelets, and they're all heart shaped. So I'm going to make do with these for today. I think we're going to use this one, which is the one we cut out yesterday. You know, I was going to try a different one today. Hold on a second. I was thinking I might try this one, which is a bit of a more rounded heart. You see, that's a long heart, and that's a rounder heart, if you understand what I'm saying. So let me just stick those down so I don't lose them. Pop them there. So we're going to use, as I say, we're going to use the paper and the stamp set from this set, this bundle. The bundle itself is $57.50. If you added to that, say, the rhinestones, you're well over your $60. So if you buy the stamp bundle, and even the embossing folder is beautiful. It's called Gingham embossing folder. All the rhinestones, all the ribbon, anything added to this, you're over your $60. So you could pick a free Celebration item. And Celebration runs until February 28th this year. So back to the paper. This is the paper in the suite. It's got some lovely, you know, little heart candies. That's a Text Me and BFF. It's got red, I think these are popsicles, suckers, and there's the backs of the papers. It's got this one, which is all sorts of candies, and a nice mottled pink on the back, the red and pink hearts, stripes on the back. This one here with little, I guess, little parcels or packages, and purple and pink hearts on the back. Lots of lovely paper in this suite. And this is the one we're going to use today. Now it has nice purple stripes on the back. You could use it either way, but I'm going to use it this way. I cut off a 4-inch strip, okay, and just left it whole, 4 by 12, okay. And what I did, I started cutting random strips, random width strips, anywhere from about 1/4 of an inch to about 1/2 an inch, no less than 1/4 of an inch, because your double-sided tape is 1/4 of an inch, and you would have to trim the tape really if you wanted to get it onto the back of the thin strips. Now, I made this piece 5 1/4 by 4 1/4, 5 1/4 by 4 1/4. If you look, you can see how my strips are all in order. I just trimmed them down. This is where I stopped at the bottom. Now I need to cut an extra couple of strips to go on the bottom of there, but I did all of this ahead of time because this is what takes the time, cutting the strips, putting the tape on the back and lining them up. Now I didn't line them up particularly carefully. I kept them in the right order so the pattern flows, but the spaces may not all be the same, and I'm okay with that. So I grab my cutter and I'm just going to cut off another couple of strips. We'll go, and as I say, there's no particular width to this, but I wouldn't go less than 1/4 of an inch. There, I've got an extra couple of strips. Keep that because you might do the next one just like that. Just pop that cutter out of the way and bring back in my piece of mylar. Now I'm going to try on a darker sheet of paper. I don't know if that helps you any or not, but it just shows you where the lines are. I don't think that makes any difference at all, but that's okay. So I've got to keep my strips going in the right order, okay, and I turned my piece of mylar this way so that I can line up from here and then put it fairly straight across. So we're going to do this piece first, piece of double-sided tape, put it across. Just trim that because I don't want it too long. I don't want any extra pieces sticking off the end, you know, because it's fiddly enough to work with. Peel that off. Oops. Now make sure you've got your pattern going the right way. You see this heart goes on the end of here. Just going to put that down. Try and line my mylar up at the side to get it straight, and put this piece about here, and then the same with this piece. And I'm okay that the tape doesn't go maybe right to the end of the piece. It's okay because we're going to trim the piece of mylar so that everything is nice and even before we put it on the front, before we run it through the big shot, or the large Stampin' Up! Cut and Emboss as it's now called. Okay, there, looks about even. So what you have is this piece of mylar, which is just, I mean, it's clear plastic. You can buy it in the office supply store. It comes in page size sheets, which are 8.5 by 11, so you can get 4 out of a sheet. It's just, you know, to make your standard card front. So I'm just gonna, whoops, put these in order, move that out of the way, give myself room to work. I'm taking this sheet out of the way because I don't think it's doing us any good. And I'm going to bring in my cutter again. This piece here I want to trim to 5 inches by 3 3/4. Alright, now I know I've got a fairly straight edge there, alright, but there could be the odd spot where I just haven't, in fact I can see on here, there's just a little edge there where I haven't got the strip right to the edge, so I'm going to trim it on both sides and make it come out to 3 3/4 inches wide by 5 1/4 long, so I'll have to trim the top or the bottom as well. Now I found yesterday when I was cutting this, if I had my piece face up, it didn't, my cutter didn't cut very well at all. Okay, so I'm turning it over like that, and I'm going to go this way because this is my top edge, and I think my top edge is fairly straight, where I've gone over on the bottom edge and I'm not sure it's fairly straight. So we're going to cut this to 3 7/8. Let me get my scoring blade out of the way. This is my cutting blade here. Now just to push like that, I found it didn't work. You see, I can push fairly hard and it's going no way. So I lifted my bar, moved my cutter up and pressed it down and brought it back to begin, and that gave me a little opening to get into, I hope. And the best way to do it is just push. So there is a perfectly straight edge there. I'm going to turn this around. I got to turn that around now. Okay, we're going to line this up 3 3/4 right there. No, wait a minute. Let me put it on the 3/4 mark because I wanted 3 3/4. Yeah, that's right. Make sure my edge runs right down the 3/4 inch mark. Same again. I'm going to close this and bring it this way and then shoot it up and hope it cut the end off, and it did. Lovely. Get the scraps out of the way. So we've got a lovely piece that's straight on two sides, 3 3/4 inches wide. Now I need to make it 5 inches. So if I cut it at 5 inches, if I just line my top edge up at 5 inches, it's going to have a tiny little thin strip there. So I'm going to move it up to 5 and move it up to as much as I can, I think. There. And I'm going to line this up at 5. And then I'm taking a little sliver off the top as well to make it the right size. There. So we've got this piece at 5 by 3 3/4 inches. We're going to take the heart die and put it where we want it, in the center of the card, because the sentiment goes inside the heart. Alright. So just give me a second. And I'm just going to move this over, take a piece of washi tape, there, that's just to hold that in place. Okay, so let's bring in the big baby here. Standard boards. Now I'll tell you, when I did this yesterday, to get it to cut right through the Mylar, I had to run it through I run it back and forwards 2 or 3 times. So I'm going to do that today and hope it cuts right through for us. Okay, so here we go. I know you don't need my hand in there, but let's just put this to one side. While we've got the cutter out, excuse me, we're going to cut a piece, we're going to cut the same piece, lost the die, oh, there it is. We're going to cut the same shape out of white because that's going to go inside the other heart. Okay, let me just set that to one side. So what we have is we have this piece here, and we cut the heart out, and we're going to save that for another card. We've got a piece of white here, and we cut the heart out, and this white heart is going to eventually go inside of there. So now to build the card. So we have the base. Okay, this piece is going on here. Should we do some we'll do stamping in a minute. So put there so it doesn't get lost. All right. So this is my mat going on the front of the card like this. Just I got a little thread there. Eighth of an inch all the way around. There. And then we're taking this piece. And what we're going to do with this piece is put dimensionals on the back. As many as we can. Not as many as we can, but as many as we need. Now you see how this dimensional here is too big for the big row, for the top row. So we'll use mini dimensionals if we have to. But try and get, boy, I cut those rows small. Okay, mini dimensionals it is. As you can see, I can't get another row of dimensionals along there. But what I can do is, you see this skinny little part on the end of the dimensionals? I could pull that off. Oh, it's already been cut. See if I can line that up so that you can't see it, and I think it will work. Perfect. Just need one more little piece after this, I think. You know, there's a half a dimension in there. So we'll trim that off and see if that'll work. I'm sure it will. There. So now comes the job of peeling all these dimensional, the backings off all of these dimensionals. Is that them all? Oops, one's stuck. There, okay. Get this mess out of the way. I'm going to take this and we're going to put this on the front of the card. And remember, we should have about 1/8 of an inch all the way around again. Close. Alright, we're going to do some stamping. I have a stamping mat here. And because these are photopolymer stamps, we need the foam mat brought in. And we're going to stamp in the middle of the white heart. We're going to use red, I think. Do we want to use? Yeah, we'll use real red. And it says, "Happy to have you in my life." And I found when I set the heart up straight, if I lined the center of the first P up with the dip in the heart, I could get it fairly centered. Not bad. So we might as well stamp the inside while we're stamping. And on the inside we're going to put just Happy Valentine's Day. There. All from the same stamp set. Have my card up. Nice. So this is going on the inside of the card, and this is going here on the front. There. And this, we're going to use liquid glue for the heart because we need to slide it in and wiggle it around just a little bit. Liquid glue. need to look right down on this to make sure I'm hiding all my red and getting it lined up. So there's card number 1. To finish it off, we've got some red rhinestone jewels or some pastel pearls. I think I'm going to try the pastel pearls on this one. So that just filled in a little bit of the white space and finished off the card. So we'll pop those to one side. So now we've got a second card. We've got the heart left over here. And what are we going to do with it? We're going to pop this onto, we have a white card here. Now the first time I just put it on the white card. I thought maybe this time we could try it with a white card and a Highland Heather mat. Now what I did with this was I took my scoring board, my scoreboard, and my card mat is 4 inches wide, 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, so I lined it up in between 4 and 8 because I have a line runs right down the middle of my board so that I can center things. Okay, I'm going to score this. I'm using the smaller end of the score. You see that's a bigger end. This the smaller end I'm using, and I'm going to score it right down at 3/4 of an inch from the right hand side, and then 3/8 from the right hand side. And I'm going to turn it around just because it's easier. Okay, 1/4, 3/8, and then I'm going to, there's my 1/4 inch. Three-eighths, 1/4 inch, and 3/8. So what you end up with is a nice scored piece, and you can see the score lines here and here. Okay, put that to one side and put the card together. Cut this piece to 3/4 by 2, 3/4 by 2 3/4, I think it is. I'm just going to get a ruler out and measure that. I'm going to say 3/4 of an inch by 3 for my sentiment. There. Bring in my board, my foam again, and happy Valentine's Day. Whoops, happy Valentine's Day. And I think we're going to stamp this in Highland Heather. Happy Valentine's Day, and the inside of the card. We're just going to stamp with the happy to have you in my life. Line my card up nice and straight on my mat. Nice. Okay, we're ready to put this one together. So we've got a basic card. It's 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. We made a mat which was 5 1/4 by 4, and it's going to go on the front like this, down flat. Making sure I've got my card opening at the right spot. 1/8 of an inch. There. We're going to put dimensionals on the back of this like we did for the outside of the heart. I think we've got them all. And we're going to put this slightly higher than halfway. Like we're not going to put it right in the center of the card, we're going to put it a little bit higher up. And we've got to be careful to get it so that we have an equal space on each side of the heart. And we have a sentiment already cut out. Happy Valentine's Day. Now on the last one I lowered the heart and I took this underneath this. I'm just going to pop up on a few dimensionals. And thankfully I can use regular size dimensionals for that. Just going to line it up in the center. There. So there's the other card. Let's go with the darker purple. We'll just put one or two here in the one. 2. Three. There. That just finished the card up. So there we are. These other two we've just made today. This one with the heart cut out of the center. The center that we cut out we used to make this card. These are my own designs as always. And as always, if you want to case these cards, copy and share them, please feel free to do so. Just say where you saw the cards made originally, and please put the Stampin' Up angel stamp on the back just to say that all the supplies used were Stampin' Up supplies. Thanks for watching everybody, have a great week and I'll be back next week. Bye!